Over 60, add this one powerful breakfast food that may support stronger muscles after 60. Because as we get older, muscle loss can happen slowly, and sometimes you don't notice it until everyday activities start becoming harder. Maybe climbing the stairs leaves you more tired than it used to. Maybe getting up from your favorite chair takes a little more effort. Or perhaps you've noticed that carrying groceries, opening heavy doors, or walking for long periods doesn't feel quite as easy anymore. And here's what many people don't realize. Your breakfast may be part of the problem, not because breakfast is bad, but because some popular breakfast foods can fill your stomach without giving your body enough protein and other important nutrients. Today, we're going to look at one simple breakfast food that may help support stronger muscles after 60. And I'll also show you how to include it in your morning routine without making breakfast complicated. So stay with me, because the answer may be much simpler than you think. Why muscle matters after 60. Let's start with something that doesn't get enough attention. When you're young, your body generally does a better job of maintaining muscle. But as we move through our 60s, 70s, and beyond, maintaining muscle becomes increasingly important. And we're not talking about becoming a bodybuilder. We're talking about the muscles you use every single day. Think about standing up from a chair, walking up a flight of stairs, getting out of bed, carrying a bag of groceries, lifting something from a kitchen shelf, or simply walking around your neighborhood. These ordinary movements depend on muscle. And here's the important part. Muscle isn't just about appearance. Your muscles help you stay independent. They help you move, maintain stability, and perform the everyday tasks that allow you to live your life without constantly depending on someone else. Imagine two people who are both 70 years old. One has gradually maintained their strength through good nutrition and regular activity. The other has become much less active over the years and hasn't been getting enough protein or overall nutrition. Neither person may notice a dramatic difference from one day to the next, but after months and years, the difference can become much more obvious. One person may still find it relatively easy to get up from a chair, walk around the neighborhood, and carry their groceries. The other may begin avoiding stairs. They may stop taking longer walks. They may become more cautious about activities they once did without thinking. And that's why protecting muscle isn't something you should only think about when you notice a problem. It's something worth supporting every day. And one of the easiest places to start is with something you already do every morning: breakfast. The breakfast mistake. Now let's talk about a common breakfast mistake. And don't worry, I'm not saying you need to completely change what you eat. The problem is that many traditional breakfasts are designed to make you feel full, but they may not provide much protein. For example, imagine starting your morning with a large bowl of sugary cereal. You eat it, you feel full, and you move on with your day. But depending on the cereal and the milk you're using, that breakfast may not provide as much protein as your muscles need as part of your overall daily diet. Or maybe your breakfast is toast with jam. It's quick, it's convenient, and there's nothing inherently wrong with enjoying toast. But if that's almost your entire breakfast, you're getting calories and carbohydrates without necessarily getting enough protein. Then there's another popular option: a pastry, muffin, or sweet breakfast bar. Again, these foods can be enjoyable occasionally, but they're generally not the type of food you want to depend on if your goal is to make your breakfast more nutritious and supportive of healthy aging. Here's the key idea: feeling full and getting enough protein are not the same thing. Your stomach can feel satisfied while your meal still falls short nutritionally. And this matters because protein provides amino acids that your body uses to build and maintain tissues, including muscle. That's why, after 60, it's worth looking at your breakfast differently. Instead of asking only, "Will this keep me full?" try asking, "What nutrients am I giving my body this morning?" Are you getting a useful source of protein? Are you getting vitamins and minerals? Are you eating something that can keep you satisfied without relying heavily on added sugar? And most importantly, can you make that breakfast something you'll actually enjoy and continue eating? Because the best healthy habit isn't the one that sounds perfect on paper. It's the one you can realistically repeat day after day. And that's where our one breakfast food comes in. It's simple, it's widely available, and it can be added to several different breakfasts without requiring an expensive diet or complicated recipes. Build curiosity around the one food. Now, before I tell you what the fruit is, let me give you a few clues. First, it doesn't require an expensive supplement. You don't need a complicated recipe. You don't need to spend an hour preparing breakfast, and you don't need to completely change the foods you already enjoy. The food I'm talking about can be eaten in the morning, combined with fruit, added to other foods, or enjoyed on its own. But there's something even more important. This food can provide something that many older adults don't get enough of at breakfast: protein. And protein matters because your body needs it to maintain and repair tissues, including muscle. Now, here's where things get interesting. You may have already seen this food at the grocery store. You may have even eaten it before. But you might not have thought of it as a food that could play a useful role in a muscle-supporting breakfast. It's creamy, it's filling, it's versatile, and when you choose the right type, it can provide a significant amount of protein without requiring a complicated meal. Here's another clue. You can combine it with berries. You can add nuts or seeds. You can mix it with oats. You can even use it as a base for a breakfast bowl. So what is it? Before I reveal it, remember something important. There's no magical food that can suddenly make your muscles stronger overnight. And if someone tells you that eating one particular food will stop muscle loss or rebuild your muscles all by itself, be skeptical. Your muscles respond to the bigger picture: your overall diet, your activity level, resistance exercise when appropriate, adequate protein throughout the day, sleep, and your general health. So we're not looking for a miracle. We're looking for a simple nutritional tool that can make a good breakfast better. And that brings us to today's food, the reveal. The one breakfast food I want you to consider is Greek yogurt. Yes, Greek yogurt. It may sound simple, but that's exactly what makes it useful. Compared with many traditional breakfast choices, plain Greek yogurt can provide a concentrated source of protein in a convenient form. And that's particularly interesting for older adults who may struggle to get enough protein across the day. But there's an important detail here. Not all Greek yogurt is the same. Some flavored varieties can contain quite a bit of added sugar. So when you're choosing one, look at the nutrition label. A plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt is often a better starting point if you're trying to keep added sugar lower. Then you can add your own flavor with foods such as berries, cinnamon, or a small amount of fruit. And now let's talk about why this simple food may deserve a place in your breakfast routine. Why Greek yogurt may help. The first reason is protein. Protein is made up of amino acids, and your body uses those amino acids for many important functions, including maintaining and repairing muscle tissue. As we get older, getting enough protein becomes increasingly important as part of an overall healthy diet. But there's a common mistake people make. They think, I'll just eat more protein at dinner. The problem is that if most of your protein comes from one meal, you may be missing opportunities to include protein throughout the day. That's why breakfast can be useful. Instead of starting the day with a breakfast that's mostly refined carbohydrates, you can build your morning meal around a protein-containing food, and Greek yogurt gives you an easy way to do that. The second advantage is satiety. A protein-containing breakfast may help you feel satisfied for longer than a breakfast that's mostly sugary or refined carbohydrates. Imagine the difference between eating a very sweet breakfast and then feeling hungry again shortly afterward versus having a balanced breakfast that includes protein, fruit, and a source of healthy fats or whole grains. The second meal may provide a more balanced nutritional profile, and that can make it easier to avoid constantly reaching for snacks throughout the morning. But there's another reason Greek yogurt is interesting. It's not just about protein. Depending on the type you choose, yogurt can also provide nutrients such as calcium, and calcium is important for maintaining normal bones and supporting normal muscle function. So you're not looking at Greek yogurt as some magical muscle-building food. You're looking at it as one useful piece of a balanced diet. And here's where you can make it even better. Instead of eating a bowl of plain yogurt by itself, build a complete meal. Start with Greek yogurt, add a handful of berries, then consider adding some nuts or seeds. You could also add a small amount of oats. Now you've created something very different from a sugary breakfast pastry. You've got protein from the yogurt, you've got carbohydrates and fiber from fruit and oats, and depending on what you add, you can also get healthy fats and additional nutrients. That's the bigger lesson. Don't search for one magical food, build a better meal. And there's one more thing I want you to remember. Your breakfast doesn't have to be huge. You don't need to eat an enormous amount of food simply because you're trying to support your muscles. The goal is to create a balanced meal that gives your body useful nutrition and fits comfortably into your daily routine. And Greek yogurt can be one convenient way to do that. But before you rush out and buy the first container you see, there's an important mistake you should avoid. Some products marketed as healthy yogurt can contain surprisingly high amounts of added sugar. The best ways to eat it. Now that you know why Greek yogurt can be a useful addition to breakfast, let's make this practical. Because knowing what to eat is one thing, knowing how to actually enjoy it every morning is another. Here are 4 simple combinations you can try. Combination number 1, Greek yogurt and berries. Start with plain Greek yogurt and add a handful of berries. You could use blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, or whatever is available to you. Berries can add natural sweetness, along with fiber and other nutrients. If you want a little more texture, add a small amount of chopped nuts or seeds. The result is a breakfast that's simple, creamy, satisfying, and provides protein without requiring much preparation. Combination number 2, Greek yogurt, oats, and cinnamon. Here's another easy option. Take your Greek yogurt and add a small serving of oats. Then sprinkle in some cinnamon. You can add a little fruit for sweetness. This combination gives you protein from the yogurt and carbohydrates from the oats and fruit. And because oats contain fiber, they can help make the meal more satisfying. It's an excellent option if you prefer a breakfast that feels more substantial. Combination number 3, Greek yogurt and nuts. For something extremely simple, combine Greek yogurt with a small handful of nuts. Almonds, walnuts, or pistachios can work well. Nuts provide healthy fats and additional nutrients, while the yogurt provides protein. But remember, nuts are energy-dense. You don't need a huge handful. A modest portion is enough to add texture and nutrition. Combination number 4, Greek yogurt breakfast bowl. And finally, you can create your own breakfast bowl. Start with Greek yogurt, add some berries or another fruit, then add a small amount of oats, nuts, or seeds. You can even add cinnamon or another spice you enjoy. The beauty of this approach is that you can change the ingredients depending on what's available. And that's important because a healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. You should actually enjoy what you're eating because consistency matters. A simple breakfast you can comfortably eat several times a week is often more useful than a complicated, perfect breakfast that you give up after 3 days. Now let's talk about some mistakes, because even a nutritious food can become part of an unbalanced breakfast if you aren't paying attention to the details. Mistake number 1, choosing a very sugary version. This is probably one of the biggest things to watch. Walk into a grocery store and you'll find yogurt in all kinds of flavors. Some taste almost like dessert. And while that doesn't automatically make them unhealthy, some varieties can contain substantial amounts of added sugar. So check the nutrition label. When possible, start with plain Greek yogurt and add your own fruit. That gives you more control over the sweetness. Mistake number 2, making the portion enormous. More isn't always better. You don't need a giant bowl of yogurt simply because you're trying to eat more protein. Your individual nutritional needs depend on factors such as your body size, activity level, total diet, and health situation. Think of Greek yogurt as one component of your breakfast, not the entire strategy. Mistake number 3, thinking one food is enough. This is extremely important. Greek yogurt isn't a magic muscle food. Eating it every morning while remaining completely inactive and eating an unbalanced diet isn't going to transform your muscles. Muscle maintenance is influenced by your overall protein intake, physical activity, resistance exercise when appropriate for you, and your general health. Think about the bigger picture. Your breakfast is one piece of the puzzle. Your lunch is another. Dinner is another, and your activity level matters too. Mistake number 4, ignoring your own dietary needs. Some people may need to limit certain foods or nutrients because of individual health conditions or dietary restrictions. That's why healthy doesn't always mean right for everyone. And that brings us to something important. Who should be cautious? Greek yogurt is a nutritious food for many people, but it isn't automatically appropriate for everyone. If you have a milk allergy, you should avoid dairy products unless your healthcare professional has specifically advised otherwise. If you're lactose intolerant, you may find that certain yogurts are easier to tolerate than others, but individual tolerance varies. And if you've been told by your doctor or dietitian to follow a specific diet because of a medical condition, don't change your diet based solely on something you hear in a video. Your personal nutritional needs can be very different from someone else's. There's another thing worth remembering. If you're over 60 and you're experiencing noticeable weakness, unexplained weight loss, difficulty getting up from a chair, repeated falls, or a significant decline in your ability to perform everyday activities, don't assume that changing breakfast will solve the problem. Those changes deserve proper medical attention. A healthy breakfast can support your overall nutrition, but it shouldn't replace professional medical care when you need it. And if you're unsure how much protein you personally need, a doctor or registered dietitian can help you determine an appropriate amount based on your individual situation. So, let's bring everything together. If you're over 60, don't think of Greek yogurt as a miracle food. Think of it as a simple, convenient, protein-containing food that can become part of a balanced breakfast. You can combine it with berries, you can add oats, you can include a small amount of nuts or seeds, and you can adjust the ingredients to fit your preferences and nutritional needs. But remember the bigger message. One food doesn't build strong muscles by itself. Your muscles need more than a single breakfast. They benefit from adequate nutrition across the day, enough protein for your individual needs, regular physical activity, and resistance exercises when they're appropriate for you. And sometimes the biggest improvements don't come from making your diet complicated. They come from making one small change that you can actually stick with. So tomorrow morning, take a look at your breakfast. Ask yourself, am I simply filling my stomach, or am I giving my body useful nutrition to support healthy aging? That one question can change the way you think about breakfast. And if you found this video useful, don't just keep the information to yourself. Share it with someone over 60 who might benefit from hearing it.